Welcome to the Dixie Doggers podcast. We're here to share knowledge and heritage. We hope y'all enjoy. For the best cut gear in the business, get with Dave Williams at Southern Cross Cut Gear. www.hogdoggear.com.
If you're buying or selling land, farms, or hunting property, these folks know land. Phil Wilson with UC Hunting Properties, 678-791-3483.
777 Kennels, Advanced K9 Nutrition. Vertex K9 Essentials, Advanced K9 Nutrition, beneficial to all breeds. You can contact them at 979-206-3050.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Don't Run with Lite Hounds. We've got Mr. Kyle King out of Arizona. He's going to tell us all about the hounds he runs. Kyle, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm out of Eager, Arizona. Been running hounds for roughly 15 years and love every bit of it. We run bear and lion dogs over here. And, yeah, I mean,
You got an outfit too?
Yes, sir. I'm part owner of Red Cabin Outfitters. We hunt just about everything in Arizona and hoofed animals and dog hunts and everything in between.
That's awesome. So y'all get some of these limited, like, jumbo elk tags occasionally?
Yeah, when they draw tags anyways. It's pretty tough to draw tags here in Arizona for a good elk tag anyways.
Yeah. Can you build points there, or is it like New Mexico?
No, it's a point system, and that's the hardest thing with it is it's just building points and having enough points to draw a good tag. And my buddy and his wife, they actually drew some really good rifle tags this year with very little points. So it was.
Oh, really?
I got to go help them out for a few days and help his wife harvest a bull on the last day.
Nice. Are they residents?
Yeah, they're residents.
I'm assuming it's a little easier for them, right? For y'all?
Yeah, they still drew it with probably less. They drew it with 12 points, and that unit usually takes 18, 20. Yeah. Early rifle tags.
God.
They have 35 tags, and they got 2 of them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Could y'all
They get a go
explain
on?
the point system? Because we're not, a lot of us aren't familiar with it at all. I think it'd be good for a lot of the listeners.
Yeah, Arizona is based off a point system. So every year that you apply and you don't draw a tag, you basically get a bonus point. They give out a bonus point for loyalty, for applying for a species for more than 5 years, I think it is. You get an extra point. And then if you have your hunter safety class, they give you a lifetime point. So you essentially could start every year off with like 2 points. But yeah, every year you don't draw a tag, or you could even just simply purchase a bonus point or a small fee or whatever, application fee. So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I got you. That's all.
Drawing tags in Arizona takes a little bit of time sometimes for those really good tags for deer and elk and antelope. I mean, I got lucky and drew an antelope tag on 8 points this year, and the same tag that I applied for, my dad and mom applied for them, and they have over 20 points for that. For antelope, and they didn't draw the tag, but I drew it with 8. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So all the states are different. Like New Mexico, you can't build points. You put in every year but you get preference if you put in with an outfitter as opposed to putting in solo. So, for elk, I know that, and then. All the states have different stuff. So I was just curious how I know Arizona, is like world renowned elk. I mean, if you want to shoot a 400-inch elk, I'm pretty sure. Am I wrong? I mean, like it's home of the jumbos, and then the strip's got the biggest mule deer on the daggum planet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, our elk hunting runs world class for sure. I mean, we have some good reservations too that's where a lot of the giant bulls come from, and all the units surrounding the res, those are usually always the better units and whatnot. But yeah, definitely home of giant elk and giant mule deer on the north side on the strip in the Kaibab.
That's cool. So how does your line and bear tags work?
Our line and bear tags are all over the counter.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so you just buy a hunting license online, and then the tags you just buy at Walmart or Sportsman's Warehouse, something like that. Just go and buy one at the local gun store or whatever. Whoever sells them, there's multiple places that will sell them, but they're
Even for non-residents?
Yep, yeah, everything's over the counter for that.
Shit, you might see me sooner than later.
Come on.
So what's the seasons like? I mean, tell us like how long, and then like when is the best, and how's your year go?
Yeah, so like bear hunting will start beginning of August, usually right around the 8th or 10th, somewhere in there, and it'll run all the way up until the second week of September. That's when our archery elk hunt starts. So they stop bear hunting then all the way till the end of September, and then our season just reopened the beginning of October over here. So bear will run now from October to December 31st, or until these sow quotas get met. We only have on our bears. We only have a sow quota. So if a certain number of sows have been reached in a unit, it'll shut it down to hunt. You can't even pursue in it or nothing.
Wow.
So that makes it interesting.
Are all the units like that? Do they have a limit, or just ones with lower populations?
No, they all have a limit. Some will vary on how many, but yeah, they all have a quota.
Do you have to go to a check station after you get one, or?
You have 48 hours to report it online or by phone, and then you have 5 days or so to 10 days. I can't remember exactly, but to report it with a biologist or a game warden for a physical check. They'll pull a tooth and a meat sample and age the bear and sex it.
On every bear?
Every bear, yep.
That's wild.
And lions, same thing, same process. Our lion season used to be year round until probably I think about 5 years ago or so, and then they put a season and a quota on it. It used to be year round, and you were allowed to kill one mountain lion per calendar year, except for some units you could kill multiple. With the higher populations of lions, you could kill multiple lions. But now it'll start mid-August and go till May 31st. Same thing. They lump up units into zones. So there's different zones all throughout the state, and some have 2 units and some have 10 units in it. And so just depending on the zone you're in will depend on how many lions. They don't care if it's female or tom. It's just the total number of lions that are allowed killed out of that zone. And same thing, you got to check them in with Game and Fish or a biologist and report them.
I gotcha.
You're only allowed to kill one.
One tag per person, basically, over the counter?
Per calendar year, yep.
I gotcha. So when's the best time to run bears, and when's the best time to run lions?
Bears, I like October.
Gotcha.
October.
Why is that?
Usually that's usually when the acorns are really good, so the bears are nice and fat, and they're they got their good coats on, thick hides on them and stuff like that. Yeah, they typically don't run as hard sometimes, but August is fun. There's a lot of you catch a bear just about every day, it seems like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it can be really good some years, and some years it can be a little scattered. This year, with it being so dry, they were real focused around water, and it seemed like if you found a good area with some bears, there was more than one in there.
That would be. I mean, I feel like that would make it easier to hone in on water, or I mean, I guess if you know a good acre and like a good crop with like a location where there's a bunch of acres, I guess you could hone in on them.
Yeah, and with we have a big variety of bear food too. I mean, we have pinions, juniper berries, prickly pears, acorns. They like to flip rocks over here and eat insects and
Yeah.
eat dead. We got a bunch of burnt ferns up here with a bunch of dead burnt trees in it, and they like to destroy those for termites and whatever kind of other bugs are living in them,
Oh, damn.
beetles and stuff, and raspberries. And
Y'all have those, is it called a choke cherry or choke something?
no,
Does that
not that I
sound
know of.
familiar?
I know. I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't believe we have any. We have raspberries, and I think in some spots there's some blueberry, like wild blueberries and stuff like that.
Joe, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. Choke cherry trees.
Okay, yeah, you giggled, and I was like, is he laughing because I don't know what I'm talking about, or is he laughing because
That's right. Most people don't know what a lot of
Yeah.
people don't even know what that is.
Well, there was, I guess they have in Colorado because that was whenever on the elk hunt, we ran into a little patch of them, and there was bear shit everywhere, and I guess they're all about it. One of the guys we had talked to had a bear tag on the trail, and I was like, man, I seen a choke cherry patch up here on this area. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah. So I guess it's something they kind of honed in on over there.
Yeah.
And then your lions, what's best time for them? I mean, do you have a lot of snow in your area or no?
Yeah, in my area we have quite a bit of snow, and I live at 7,000 feet, so we
Oh,
hunt
okay,
from
yeah.
about 7,000 to some of these mountains up here peak out at about 10.5.
Okay, so they're real mountains. I mean, it's not like I feel like when I drive through New Mexico, it's like I mean to me, I haven't been to the west side, but on the northeast corner that I go through to get to Colorado, I'm like these aren't even real mountains.
Yeah,
Compared to
that's
you get up
flat
there in
over there for
Colorado,
sure.
and it's like holy cow! I mean, it's a whole different planet.
Yeah, that's the flat part of the state over there. Over here,
Yeah.
we butt up against the Gila, and it's all big country and big mountains. Um, yeah, I can in 2 hours I can be all the way down into 5,000 feet elevation, 4,500 feet elevation, and right here out the back door we can go. We hunt a lot around 75 to 8,500 feet.
That's the sweet spot.
Yeah, and then our snows, some years last year we didn't have hardly any snow. It was kind of nice. It kept a lot of the weekend warriors at bay. But it forced me to hunt the dirt. I don't hunt the dirt a lot. I'm mainly snow. I like the snow just because it's easier.
Yeah.
I like catching stuff.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about. You hear some guys are just, dry only, and then others are opportunists. If there's snow, they're trying to get up there and cut a track. Seems like.
Yeah,
Is it that much easier?
Yeah, it's just easier to find a track up here in this country. Like it's a lot of tall yellow grass and malapite rock, tenders, pine needles.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of great places to see a track in the dirt. I mean,
Gotcha.
we trailed a bunch, but we were just free casting dogs, and I would go to certain ridge lines that I knew would have scratches if there was a tom in the area, and I just hunted it. I just did the same circle every day. I checked the same spots, and if in that time period I didn't find nothing, I would venture into new country in between all that country that I hadn't hit, and just check out
On foot?
see. Yeah, just driving roads.
Yeah.
There's a lot of roads up here in this unit close to me. There's a ton of roads, so it's pretty easy. I just would drive out the ridges and make a little half-mile circle and just check and see if there was a tom in there or if the dogs would strike anything. And if they didn't, I would just drive to the next ridge that was a mile to the east or west, and just keep hopscotching around until either we trailed something or I just was looking into new country.
What are you calling a scratch? I'm gonna ask you a bunch of dumb questions because I don't know nothing about it.
So no, that's fine. So a tom lion, a male lion, they'll leave a scratch with their back feet. Some people think they do it.
Oh, it's the back feet, huh?
Yeah, it's the back feet. I've had
That's
plenty
not
of
what I
trail
heard. I
cameras.
heard it's the front feet.
I think they're a little backwards.
Yeah.
There's just some places that they've scratched that it wouldn't make sense for their front feet to be there. I'm sure they have done it, but it's not. It's mainly their back feet. I've had trail cam videos and pics of it back when we were allowed to run trail cameras. We can't run trail cameras in Arizona anymore, so.
Oh no.
Yeah, a bunch of crybabies, but.
Well, I saw a video recently of a Tom doing the back legs. Hold on one second.
Nice.
Hey, you can button. There's boys. Put them down early and they're not blocked. Video of yeah, it was. I remember the thing.
I don't know if it's mine breaking up or one of y'all's breaking up.
Sorry, hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, no, I didn't know if it was mine or one of y'all's or what.
It was mine. I walked in here to check on these boys.
Tighten up.
Tighten up, boy. Kim's jacking around.
Get it together.
Do you think people? You're talking about the scratch thing. It's just my curiosity. You think that people think it's their front feet because of the way a house cat does in a litter box?
Probably. I know the females will use their front feet. The females will make like mounds when they have kittens. It seems to be the most popular time when they do it.
Okay.
But they'll make a big mound. It'll be 2 foot by 2 foot by a foot tall, and they'll be just cat shit all over it. And I don't know if they're using it so that the kitten knows like their area, like they're close to home maybe, or what. But I'm sure they'll use their front feet. And like I said, I'm sure there's times those toms will use their front feet, but most I've ever seen and heard argued about was back feet, and it makes the most sense.
I got you. It was just curiosity.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I was saying I had seen a video recently, and I don't know if it was a Tom or what it was, but it was using his back feet on the scratch. And I remember listening to a podcast a while back. It had been years ago, and they were talking about an old timer saying it was the front feet, and they were arguing back and forth. And I knew if I asked that question, you'd have an honest opinion.
Yeah, I think it's the back feet. I mean,
and what are they doing? They're marking their territory or what?
Yeah, they'll use it to let a female know they're in the area, and if they have a kill in the area, they're kind of like staking out their territory, kind of like a communication thing. I think they'll when a tom's ready to breed, maybe he's out there laying scratches to let that female know that he's there and ready and whatnot, and they do their little dance.
I gotcha. I was always kind of curious on that stuff. Without cutting the track, what do you look for? I mean, obviously kills would be awesome. If you find a kill, you can. I mean, how often do you find kills, and how often can you catch off a tree?
The very first line I ever caught was off of a kill. Actually, it was a little pregnant female, and she had a little deer kill like 100 yards off the road, and I was helping a buddy out in New Mexico, and they were passing on it because they were looking for a tom, and I went over there and put dogs down on it and ended up trailing her a couple miles and catching her, and actually did it back-to-back days because she came back to it the next day, and
Nice.
we caught her a couple of the 2 days in a row there and let her go. Just like I said, it was first line I caught on my own with my own dogs and whatnot.
Nice.
So it's kind of cool.
Set them up for success.
Yeah, exactly.
How do they know it's a female?
By the size of the track, you can typically tell if it's a tom or a female. Your juveniles and females will have a certain size track and a stride. A female usually won't have a stride over 40 inches. A mature tom will have a stride over 40 inches from back foot to front foot.
Okay. That's cool.
And
I'm learning all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and a female, they're typically like 30 to 40 inches, and 40 is probably even on the bigger side. Like a young juvenile tom will be on the high 30s to 40 range.
I gotcha. That's cool. So what kind of dogs do you run, or tell me what you started with and what you're with now?
Shoot, I've just had junkyard dogs pretty much my whole career. I mean, getting now, lucky to know a lot of guys in the industry with dogs that have way better dogs than I do, and a buddy, I get a lot of my stuff now from my buddy out of New Mexico. I have a lot of dogs that has come from his yard and whatnot, and pretty much anything. I if they hunt, I'm not too picky on color. I mean, I'm gonna piss some guys off back east, but I don't run brindles very much anymore. I used to have a plot or two around, but I got away from them. They just never sat well with me, so that's about the only dog I don't run. And even at that, most of the dogs that I get from my buddy in New Mexico have a little plot in them. So
Oh yeah.
they just don't resemble it.
Can't tell nobody, but that's in there.
Yeah, yeah, nobody be able to tell anyway.
I wouldn't tell anyone. I would never tell a soul. We went to the plot bay in Georgia, and I had some brindle pups, and those guys were like, "Dude, that's some good looking plots." I turned around and looked. I said, "They're not plots." And that one guy was like, "Are you sure?" What? Yeah, I'm sure. They ain't got no plot in them. I said, "You see how good they are?" He just looked at me like, and I realized what I even said, and I just grabbed my dogs and I went home. I was like, I ain't staying.
Run.
But actually, I hung out, and Mr. Gary, he told me, he said, Joey, those really don't have any plot in them. I said, not lick. I said, they're Catahoula and Blackmouth Cur Cross. He said, how in the world? I said, same way y'all made plot dogs. Somebody just crossed a bunch of shit up and it looked like brindle.
Yep, exactly.
I know them guys hate it.
Got ears and it's brindle. Plot.
Oh man,
That's funny. So so you got blue ticks, red tick, you name it.
Yeah, I mean, I got
all
a little bit of everything. I got a couple red and white looking dogs and everything. I got one black and tan, and then everything else is kind of like Walker blue tick cross. There's one that looks like more blue tick, not even really like blue tick. He's got some brown in him and stuff like that. He's definitely Walker blue tick cross kind of looking dogs. But yeah,
what?
just hunting whatever really hunts. I mean, not crazy picky. I'm trying to find more of the dry ground lion dog stuff. I just got a puppy from a buddy out of New Mexico as well, and the moms are real good on the like Southwest New Mexico style dirt hunting dogs, like old school names that they come from, and then the dad is out of some Utah stuff, some good bear lion dogs out of Utah, and he's 7 months old right now, and he is just cranking. From 6 months to in about a month and a half, he's seen 12 bears, and he makes just about every race. He doesn't tree much, but he rolls, and he's now starting to participate too. He's not just me tooing. And the other day, I seen him actually trailing and putting effort in, and it was really nice. We ran the bear across the road, and all the older dogs were way out in front, and he come to the road, and he seen me, and he started walking towards me, and I was like, shit. And it's just like 2 seconds later, he just whipped his head to the other side of the road, went off, and just started trailing. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh, boy. There you go.
And
Thank
we
goodness.
ended up not catching it, but he's still like, he goes. He got his
wants
butt
to.
kicked the other day, but for the most part, he's made quite a bit of races and just doing really good. Super excited for that.
That's awesome. I love that. So You run the same dogs on bears and lions, or do you got different packs?
Nope, I run everything I have needs to run bears and lions. I don't. I'm not too crazy about having one pack for lions and one pack for bears. It's just too hard to keep dogs in shape around here with the seasons and the closures. The only good thing with lion hunting is when the zone shuts down, they allow you to pursue them, so you can at least still
nice.
trail them. But the bear hunting, it's done. So there's if you're not willing to travel from up here on the mountain, your season's going to be very short. These out here can't figure out how not to kill sows. It's ridiculous.
Is there a lot of outfitters that are just getting clients on them?
Yeah, for sure. And last year they had a little study out, and only 25% of the kills came from hounds and bought and stock guys. So they took away the rifle season until October, but it didn't even survive the 3 weeks of archery season. They killed the annual sows. So each season has a certain number of sows it could be taken. And then they also have an annual harvest limit. So once the annual harvest limit shuts down, it shuts it down for the rest of the season. It won't open. It won't reopen on the October season if it's met in August. So,
I got you.
so they shut down a handful of units. I mean, it's crazy. It shuts down quick now for some reason. It never used to. It never used to shut down, but other units have shut down, which has pushed people to the only 4 units that are open for the August hunts, in the States. So it's still pretty quick, and everybody's out there trying to kill a bear.
Wow. So it's there's a lot of still hunters and guys that are spotting and stalking.
Oh, absolutely. Especially on our rifle, when the rifle hunts are going on, it's a lot of the units are the same time as archery deer. Archery deer and archery bear and archery turkey all opens up, so everybody's hitting water in August. So
Yeah.
it's pretty much easy.
Opportunist.
Yeah, exactly, and I don't blame them. Like it's whatever. It is what it is. But it's the hound guys those guys that are consistently just whacking blinks. It's getting ridiculous. There hasn't been a lot of bears killed over 150 pounds, it seemed like, this year so far, and
holy cow.
It's pretty sad. Yeah.
What's a good sized bear out there? What's a good sized bear weigh out there?
I would say our average is 250 to 300, right there, around there.
Got you.
A good 6-foot bear, but.
And y'all get all kinds of colors stuff. I mean, they'll be black and red and black color and everything.
Yeah. That bear we killed yesterday, he looks black in the pictures, but in the sunlight when we seen him, he was pretty red looking. So it's kind of cool. They kind of have the way the sun hits them. They'll look black, and then they'll look like he looked red. He looked chocolate for sure in the sunlight, but once you're up to him, you can't see it. It's pretty wild.
That's cool. How long was that race?
We actually spot and stalked that one. We smoked the dogs. I went into some pretty rank country, and the dogs hadn't been ran in a month, and we kind of hunted on Saturday, and I was like, you know what, let's go down here, and went down and checked a pond down in some desert stuff, and did a big hike, and ended up starting one, and they just got their bell rung. We ran 8 miles through some rank stuff and just got our asses kicked, and gave them Sunday off. And then Monday we hunted and we tried running too, but gosh dang, they were pathetic. They were sore. They were sore, and I was just like, you sorry suckers. And it was my fault. I mean, I shouldn't have taken them to that rank country being their first day. After a while, they've been sitting for the whole season, the elk season and whatnot. So
just throw them the wolves right off the bat.
Yeah, just threw them to the wolves. Exactly. It was, gosh dang it. I felt so. The next day, I was like, what an idiot! Like, why would you do that?
So
just stupid. But I don't know. We're going to go out in the morning. They're looking a little better today, so some might still stay home, but for the most part, the young ones, they're ready to rock and roll, so
Good.
go take them out.
How many dogs do you keep at the house?
Right now I have 7, but that is entirely not enough.
Oh, really? Like, what's your normal day?
I would like 12, 14, I think, is going to be a good number. Just to rotate 2 packs, especially having clients and whatnot, and being able to hunt consecutive days is really, really nice. And sometimes those bears can put a hurting on a pack of dogs just running them through some rank stuff. Real rocking country. And it got hot too. Yeah, it was a rookie move, but it's over now.
You gotta do that every once in a while to remember that you're. I tell myself all the time I'll do something like today. It worked out for me, but I ran a track in the middle of the day today, and I normally don't do that, especially with it being 87 degrees and whatever. But I was told the guys like, man, I'll come back tonight, run them at dark, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta record with Joey's dumbass, so can't do that. And then
Fuck.
so,
God damn, it's my fault because your dog sucks. Jesus Christ.
so I
Next
said,
thing you know, Kyle will be making a Facebook post. He's like, yeah, my dog didn't tree nothing because I had to record with Joey and him dumbasses. Like, he fucked y'all. That's all right. I'm going bear hunting tomorrow. Well, Friday, I'm going bear hunting anyway, so I don't care.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to deep South Georgia, me and Nate and Rodney.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah.
And we went down there before and we've treed, but we've never been like on a bear hunt. So and we're going to interview a couple of older gentlemen that are in their 80s, and hopefully we can follow them around the swamp. Hopefully I can keep up with them. Should be exciting.
Awesome. What's the season like there? It's been going for a minute, hasn't it?
Yeah, so the way they have a pretty good training season, and then I think actual kill season, there's only 4 weekends, and it's like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday that you can hunt, and this is the last weekend. So they have 4 of those weekends. The first weekend they went, and we were supposed to go that weekend, and we had to rearrange, we had to reschedule, and they killed a 510 and a 516 and a 310 same day. I was like, Jesus. Yeah.
It messed out.
Yeah. That's kind of, it's all flat ground. It's all swampy, and man, it's just thick mangled gallberry bushes. It's really tough terrain to get there, but like we don't have to hike mountains. So that's a plus.
There you go.
I'm sure they both have their downfalls, though, because I know that stuff can get pretty thick, and especially down the swamps. I imagine you're catching a lot of them on the ground.
Yeah, there's a lot happening on the ground.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have some areas where that'll happen. I hunt one unit I hunt. I actually killed my bear, first time in 15 years of having dogs. I killed a bear last year, and a buddy of mine and we caught just a great big sucker, and dogs walked him on the ground for 4 hours, and finally hiked up in there to where they were and got him killed. But that country is pretty notorious for walking bears on the ground. It's real bluffy and rocky, and there's some trees, but it seems they don't like to climb them. They like to utilize the country, because some of that country is just, I mean, there's 200-foot bluffs in there, 300-foot bluffs in there, and one little sliver that those bears can get down and up, and they'll drag some dogs through some rock piles, and you'll be looking for dogs for days just trying to get them out of there, because they're sore and it just takes them forever to come out. But it's pretty rank. Sometimes we ask ourselves, why the heck do we hunt over here? And then we have days like we did last year with that bear on the ground, and just watching dogs work him and being able to walk in there and shoot him on the ground, it was a lot of fun. It was pretty wild, and it was definitely an adrenaline rush. After we killed that bear, I was like, man, I could do that every day. That would be just so much fun, just walking a bear on the ground. Dogs were staying right by him. Not, he wasn't out to kill dogs, and dogs weren't chewing on him. So they just kept enough pressure to keep him going and keep him walking. And then he got tired and just stood up against a bluff in a big tree. And
that's the
kinda
first
caught up
bear
to
you
him.
killed in 15 years?
Personally for myself, yeah.
Yeah, I got you. I've noticed a lot of guys that bear hunt are like that. What about you, Ricky? You know a lot of guys that are like that do bear and lion and stuff, and they just want to tree it. They don't want to. They're not worried about killing nothing.
Yeah, I don't know a bunch by him, but all the stuff that I listen to, and the handful that I have, I mean,
Yeah.
they're just treeing them and then working dogs. I mean, most of the time.
That's the way I do with hogs. Most of them are like 30-pound shoats, and we run the hell out of them. Like, I mean, that's all we do. We don't catch them.
Training, baby.
Yeah, we just let them run. We don't catch them.
Yeah, I mean, I have buddies. Like, I had a buddy come with me when August opened, and he really wants to kill a bear, but he can kill a bear whenever he wants. So I don't let him just shoot any bear that we catch. Like, I want to catch a good, respectable boar for him to kill. Because he's not. He goes with me all the time. He's killed a lion with me and stuff like that. But it's we're not out there just to kill a bear. Like, we caught 6 bears in 3 days and didn't kill one because they were all dinks.
Yeah.
But it's nice because I've called my dogs off of a lot of trees, so my dogs don't require leads to jerk them away from a tree. I just turn around and start calling them, leave it, let's go.
Yeah.
They don't even care. We stood like 70 yards from the tree and watched the bear come out, and they just watched it with me, and we just go back to the truck and go look for another one.
That's awesome. That's too cool. I've gotten to where with my older dog Huck, we'll find a deer, and usually, like especially this year, I've been just as soon as he finds them, I walk up, pat him on the ass, say good boy, and then we go to the truck, and then I turn the puppies out and let them go track it too afterwards.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, heck yeah.
So he gets where I'll walk up, and he just looks at me, and he's like, all right, job done. And he'll just go right back to the truck, hop in the kennel, and he's all about it. He's fine with it. So it's cool it's nice because one little come on, let's go, and off he goes.
Yeah, it's been super nice. I mean, I've been wanting to kill bears. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've been wanting to burn some down, but I don't want to.
Ain't no sense in just killing a bunch of dinks. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, I've done that cycle. I mean,
you're past that stage of your life.
Yeah, I like it. Big bears are cool.
Yeah, you bet. Well,
you see these guys, they kill these 100-pounders or 80-pounders, and they're standing 50 feet behind it. I'm like, if you're that embarrassed to take a picture of it, why did you kill it?
Yeah.
Like, if you got to do all this stuff to make it look bigger, like, why did you kill it? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, just be grateful you killed a bear and take a picture with it. Who cares what anybody thinks or says? If you killed a small one, you killed a small one. So what? Your first bear, cool, congrats.
Yeah.
But just take a good picture with it. Don't try to Photoshop it or make it look bigger or better than what it is. Just accept for what it is. It's a bear.
I can imagine. I can imagine whenever, you got some guy like me coming in there that doesn't know anything, and the outfitter would be like, hey, that's him, let's shoot him. And then you shoot him and he gets down, and, from tree to ground, you're like, what the hell? I mean,
Yeah.
you would, have that ground shrinkage. But somebody that doesn't know any better, how the hell they know? If an outfitter says shoot him, or a guide or whoever,
Yeah,
says that's the one, whack him, you do it. We got these antelope down in South Texas called nilgai, and they're big giant summits, and they're really good eating. Well, I went on hunt and took a buddy, and he's like, man, I just want a cow for meat. And I was like, man, I'm really looking for a bull to put on the wall or whatever. And first thing in the morning, we come up on a small little herd of nilgai, and it was all cows. And he's like, I'm in, and the outfitter's like, yeah, just, shoot that one right over there. And it was kind of moving. Anyways, he drops it, and we get over there, and it's like a yearling. And I was like, man, why would you tell my buddy? My buddy doesn't know any better. I didn't
Right.
even see the thing, and he told him to shoot it. Like, yeah, go ahead. And I was like, why would you do that? I mean, it's like this place is like loaded with nilgai. There's not like, I mean, shooting a cow was not going to be a problem that day.
Right.
And I was just kind of profound. Like, why would you tell him to do that? I was just, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way because you could tell he was just trying to get the shit done and get over with. So I can imagine that it probably could get like that running guys in and out on bears or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
it's a numbers game.
Well, and guys and clients, they want to pay for kills. They're going to go with the guy that shows the most kills every year. Cool. I mean, yeah, awesome. But you go shoot a piss head, and it's just like, why?
Piss head.
I see it.
I heard a funny term this morning. You when you said that, I was giggling. So go ahead and catch this deer, and it's an outfitter in Oklahoma, and he runs maybe 30 deer hunts a year, and a lot of it's archery. But anyways, he has like hundreds of thousands of acres leased out from farmers and all that stuff, and then and then of course he outfits on it. Well, a lot of these guys are like, yeah, you can hunt out here, but my grandson might want to hunt out here, blah, blah. And if you don't mind, then it's okay if you lease it. Well, so he's got to kind of be nice. Yeah, little Johnny can come hunt. Well, last year, that little Johnny wanted to go on a hunt, and my buddy's like, man, he had some really big deer lined up for some clients. So he's like, well, yeah, go to this stand. There's some good older deer, to shoot. He's like, I don't want to shoot. I just want to get some meat or whatever. And so he went over there and shot this like 2-year-old forkhorn buck. And he's like, yeah, I got me a good meat buck, boy. And he said, a meat buck? What's a meat buck? He's like, yeah, just a good old meat buck. And so anytime they shoot little deer now, they call them meat bucks because they're good eating.
They're packed full with meat. Yeah.
I know what we're knocking out this year.
Old meat bucks, boy.
Big old meat buck, little yearling.
I was just giggle. I was like, I get a meat doe or like a cold buck, but I ain't never had a buck.
That's funny. Yeah.
So how many guys will you run a year as far as outfit wise for bear and lion?
Lions, like I kind of run my hunts on an on-call system, just because sometimes we don't get a very long, consistent snow. They can be just a storm that lasts 4 or 5 days, and then it'll melt off. And some of the higher country will accumulate snow. But at a certain point, then it's snowmobiles and track machines. You're not hunting a small area.
Yeah.
But so just try to hunt the fresh snows, and I put a list together of 5 guys, and I just cycle them through. First, as they've paid deposits, they're higher ranked on the list, and they'll get a call first. But if they can't come, I just go to the next one, and whoever's available, I'll have them come out and hunt. And if they don't kill, then they just get put back on the list. We just cycle back through again, and try to keep it a high success, and looking for mature toms. Is kind of where our goal was. I know last year we killed a female, and we killed a young tom and whatnot. I'm sure catch hate for that, but moving forward, trying to be better at killing mature animals and whatnot. There's a lot of competition over here where I live, so the snows kind of suck. There's I think we're in Arizona, and we've got to be the capital of houndsmen because there is people everywhere with dogs here. And when the snow hits, you realize there's even more people with dogs here. So, but I hunt Arizona and Mexico. So, I mean, and I'll go pretty much anywhere. I'm not afraid to travel. I go where the best opportunity is. And this stuff is good here. It's just some weekends you got to battle 20, 30 other houndsmen out here looking for the same thing. It can get a little crowded, and some days you have the whole forest to yourself. But
So
and
can
then
anybody
bears,
just load up and come out there and hunt line? Like if I loaded up 10 dogs and left today, or when season was, do you have to have any kind of license to run hounds, or is it just a tag over the
all you have
counter,
to have
however?
all you have is license and a tag. And even lions, they have a tag. So you have your kill tag, which you can use to pursue lions or kill. Once you kill a lion, you have to go buy a pursue only tag.
Okay.
But until you kill a lion, your kill tag will work as a pursuit tag and a kill tag until you kill, and then you have to have
Gotcha.
a pursuit tag. But yeah, you just have to buy hunt license online. They don't sell those in the store no more, but the tags, they're all over the counter. Certain certain stores will sell them, and yeah, you don't no hound permit, no.
Okay.
No,
I
New
didn't know.
Mexico, you buy all your bear and lion tags 40 hours before your hunt starts. But you can do all that online for New Mexico and whatnot. But yeah, and then like their lion, they make you take a cougar identification course. So they ask you like 20 questions or whatever about lions, and you have to pass the identification course. And once you pass it, it's lifetime. But simple thing on asking about females and toms and how to identify each one and whatnot.
Tell everybody the telltale about a tom and a female. I've heard the black dot is a male, or what is it? You tell me.
Yeah. The black dot below the tail is a tom, and if it's just solid white, it's a female.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the 100% tell right there. And usually when they're in a tree, it doesn't take much to be able to tell if it's a tom or a female. It's pretty noticeable.
Well, I'm gonna get graphic. Is that nuts or is that dick?
No, it's their nuts. Yep.
Okay.
It's their little black nuts.
Right on. I was just curious. And then, so what about the bears? So how does that operate?
Yeah, same thing. It's over the counter, and they're little. I mean, if they're in a tree, give it enough time, and you'll be able to tell if it's a sow or a boar, because a boar is going to piss on his belly. A sow's going to piss out at the back of her legs, and eventually they always tree. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can get them to move around and be able to tell.
Okay.
And a lot of the times on mature animals, you can tell by the head, the way the head is. And boar's got a big wide head, blocky looking head, and those sows will have a longer running snout, wider or narrower head, and big ears and stuff.
I gotcha. So how do you run the outfit? Go ahead, Joey.
I was just going to ask, when they're running the bear or the cat, is there a distinct difference in the way that they travel, the way that they run? When you got the dogs on them. I mean, is a male going to deviate something different than what a female would, or are they all just
on lions? Yeah, they'll run a little differently. A female is a little harder to trail just because they're smaller in size.
Okay.
So they don't leave much. A good mature tom, they're real stinky. So the dogs trail those toms a little easier than those females. And honestly, sometimes those females, they'll get tricky and they'll circle back a lot. And a tom, you can get on a tom and he's just lined out. A couple years ago, I was helping some friends in New Mexico, and we cut a track, started it at daylight, and we trailed him 9.5 miles before we hit another road. and our other guys that were out helping us circled out front and had cut his trap fresh. And me and my buddy, we walked 9 miles trailing this lion and the side of the track and dumped like 20 dogs on it, and they ended up going a mile after they cut on it. So we put all the work trailing that sucker across this big old range, and not one of us had a dog show up at the tree because they had dumped 20 dogs there. But we got there and killed a great big tom. But yeah, he just lined out, and he was on my GPS. Our whole track was just straight east. Like
Wow.
he would deviate north and south just a little bit, but for the most part, if you zoomed out, it was straight east, and he was just going.
Wow.
But yeah, and bears, I mean, I haven't never noticed. I haven't been like, oh, I think we're running a boar or a sow. You know, they kind of run the same. They run a little different than lions, but they'll either pick up and just run, or they'll run big circles and whatnot.
Okay, gotcha.
If you caught them through their feeding, yeah, or just traveling, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Which one goes up a tree faster?
Man, I don't know if I'm just lucky or I just don't have that great of dogs, but I seem like most of the bears I've caught this year, we've gone, most of them, maybe 600-700 yards in catching. Like, it's been
Nice.
wild. I know my
Putting that
dogs
heat
don't
on
really
them, boy.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Putting that heat on their ass.
Yeah, I wish that was the case. I think my rig dogs are just so hot nosed that the tracks we're going to rig on are just that catchable of a track, you know, which I'm fine with. And running clients, it's okay, but it's a little frustrating as a training standpoint, you know, because it doesn't make any better dogs, you know, just running these quick tracks. And I don't want to sound ungrateful for these tracks, but it's just on a training standpoint, it's like we're just doing the same thing over and over and over, and it's just real quick. And then we get on those harder bears and we just get our asses kicked. And it's just I need to hunt the rougher country more to get on the rougher bears, I guess, and get the dogs better at that. But and then lions, I mean, you're cutting tracks in the snow, so you're looking for the freshest track. And like I said, up here there's a lot of roads, so if you cut a track, you can stomp it out and circle out in front of it and maybe cut it fresher, or at least know where it's not at. And then, I mean, I've cut tracks at 10 o'clock at night, turned on them at daylight, trailed them a mile. And then that one, you know, we trailed 9 miles. They ended up total from where we started to where they treed that big tom, it was like 11 and a half miles. But just so.
Will you pass up so you'll if you see a track, what's a track to you that is like, that one's too old, I'm passing on it? Like, what's the time frame on that, or what you think it is?
Honestly, if I find an old track, because we'll get up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, midnight sometimes, just depending on if we got a lot of competition. You know, on the weekends there's always definitely more people out, so you got to get up a little earlier to. And we can't turn out on a track until daylight, but we can look for a track. And I mean, I know guys that'll drive from sun up to sundown, and then, you know, like there's times I'll get up at midnight and go. It'll depend on how far I'm going to start looking for tracks. Last year, a lot of the tracks I cut were midday. Like I think I cut every track I cut in the night, somebody was already sitting on it.
Oh, yeah.
And then I go hit all my spots, and then go re-hit my spots in the middle of the day, and we were getting lucky and catching lions, cutting lion tracks in like 9 to 11 o'clock in the morning, and it would be super fresh.
Do you think those were because they got pushed by other people, or you think they were just other tracks?
No, they were just that's just when they crossed the road and everybody went through there earlier.
Yeah,
you know, I caught a tom and a female one day. We ended up killing the tom, but we were driving and I was talking with my hunter, and we had just killed a client in New Mexico for a mule deer. So I'm like scrolling through my phone looking for a picture to show him, and my number one dog, Snoop, he was rigging out the truck, and I was like, that dog doesn't bark for no reason. So I
Yeah.
maybe I drove over a track, and I opened the door, and there's a Tom and a female track walking right down the road, and put 4 dogs on it, and 3 went and caught the female in a hole, and then another dog soloed out on the Tom and went another 1,000 yards down the ridge from where they caught the female, and ended up catching the Tom in a big hole, and we got in there and killed that Tom. But it was super fresh, and it was like 11 o'clock in the afternoon, in the morning or whatever.
Oh,
And so, but I mean, I won't, if it's daylight and I cut a track, I'm going to put dogs on it. Just try it, see how they do. Sometimes they'll sell it.
Okay.
If they can't, we'll just move on, and
yeah.
or try to figure out where the fresher track is, stomp it out and put some dogs on it to make it look like somebody's running it.
Out here. So guys will see a track, and you could be going down them roads, and you see the old Yoda pulled over with the dog box, and he's sitting on a trail, on a cutover, like a cross track.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a ton of roads up here in this unit, so it's not hard to go find
No
a line
sense in
track.
getting off on your foot, really. I mean, if there's that many roads.
Yeah, and even in the country that doesn't have lots of roads, the roads are usually in the right spots where lions are going to cross them anyways. I mean, you might end up in a shithole, but you're going to find a line track.
But you're going to cut a track getting to that shithole.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, and then the dry ground part of it, I mean, it's tough up here to find tracks, but down in the desert stuff, there's sand washes and everything, and it's just like looking for a snow lion track in the dirt. You just some zones you can drag roads in and stuff like that, and muck out the road in the middle of the night, and then come back early in the morning and check it, and if something crossed it, then you got a fresh
What do
track
you use
around.
for that?
You could use. We make some drags out of some snow chains and stuff like that, and sometimes you just find a good old tree that's looking like it needs to be dragged down the road.
Yeah. That tree just happened to be in the road, and I drug it under my undercarriage for 2 miles.
Yeah. So
they do that down the border on Texas. They drag tractor tires and shit on the little sand roads, and they're not looking for animal tracks. So,
right.
But the Border Patrol drags them down the highways, and then down all the little roads, all the little sand paths. Same deal.
Same here in Southern Arizona. I know some guys that hunt that border stuff, and they're like, man, you don't even have to drag the roads. Border Patrol does it already. They drag it.
There you go.
And so you just go drive behind them and look for lion tracks.
Oh, yeah.
And they got tire drags laid out everywhere, so you just go up to them and drag them around.
Yeah, you can't drive anywhere down there on them sand paths. There's a tire every couple miles. Seems like. That's funny. I didn't know that was a thing. Oh, that's pretty cool. So your roads up there? I mean, I guess if you're down in the lowlands, it's mostly sand, and you're getting up, it's lots of just rock. I mean, like in South Texas, there's the main little rock over there is called a caliche stone. It's like a little white rock, and there'll be paths with that, but then you get off and it's just straight, sugar sand, what I call it, just real simple sand. I didn't know, is there more rock? Is there any rocks down low, or is it mainly all just sandy country?
Oh, it's down south is real good country. It's sandy and it's rocky, and the rock is the best. It's granite most of the time. It's granite rock, and then up here we have cinder rock and lava rock and clay dirt. It's
nothing gonna leave a print.
Yeah, nothing that's good for you.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. Also, how's that on the paws? I mean, of the dog.
It's hard on feet. It definitely makes tough feet, and we're in a big burn scar where I do a lot of hunting, and so there's a lot of deadfall, and then whatever they put down to knock that fire out, there's a weed called locust that just grows in here, and it's just thorn patches, grows in thicker, and it's terrible. It's hard to get through in some spots, and those dogs even have a hard time getting through it.
Is that like green with little red spot like real tiny stuff, or is it different?
I think this stuff grows like a stalk in it. Like some of the
Okay.
bigger stuff will be like 2 inches, 3 inch, 4 inch diameter, and it's just thorns. This have a thorn on it, and it's just god awful. It'll grow in thick like an aspen. You know how the aspens will kind of grow in real tight.
Right. A little quick.
Yeah, this is like that, but thorns on it, and it's miserable.
Well, I mean, I don't feel bad for you at all because
I'm
you
sure
ain't
you
got
guys
no
got fun
blinds.
with that.
But no, I'm curious. When we were in Colorado this year, there was it was real soft. I guess like our briars, but it was like a softer core, and it had like little red hair type thorn. It wasn't thorns, but like just little hair. So it was like it'd be pokey if you didn't have pants on, but pants you could walk right through it. So it was like it wasn't a big deal. Over here you get into there's briars over around us that you're not gonna kick through. They'll grab you and not let go kind of deal. But so you were also I called him earlier, Joey, and we were talking about bugs and the damn ticks and fleas. Tell us about y'all's country over there when it comes to ticks and all that stuff.
Well, it's absolutely horrible on dogs and people.
Yeah.
It's bad. The ticks are horrible for us. Like
So
we're
have you messed with that Ehrlichia stuff that I was talking about?
we have not. Somebody else told me the other day their dog had Ehrlichia. I don't remember who it was. Said they had a dog had some issues and found out it was Ehrlichia.
Yeah.
But we still have not. Like the fleas are the worst thing here with all the humidity and the moisture. It's just ridiculous.
Well, I was asking Kyle about it earlier, and he was asking he was making me jealous. So tell him about your country with bugs and all that stuff.
I mean, up here on the mountain, we don't have much of anything. I mean, if you get fleas, it's because another dog brought it to you. And down in the desert stuff, they can deal with ticks and fleas a little there, but up here where I live, man, I haven't had the only time I had an issue with it is when I was living in New Mexico and we were living in the desert over there, and it was really, really warm all the time, and man, ticks terrible there. But here, I mean, I don't even do anything preventative or nothing. I just don't have them. If we get them, it's get some water off them.
Shit. You better do something preventative here. You better go ahead and start digging holes. That stuff's bad, man. What about like their worming or deworming regimen? Do you have to deal with like intestinal parasites and worms on your dogs?
No, I mean, I worm them like twice a year is what I do.
I don't listen. Hang this fucking phone up. I'm sick of this shit.
These bastards twice a month.
Yeah, like we have to worm literally probably twice a month. We're worming every month regardless. And I'm not talking about with just some cheap worm or deworm or whatever. I'm talking about like we spend hundreds of dollars every month just on worming the dogs.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bad dog owner. I don't know, but I don't have issues with it. My dogs are all healthy looking. I mean, I don't.
Hey,
mine look like they're dead. Ours look like, usually people are like, "Hey, here's $20." I'm like, "What's that for?" Like, buy some dog food, man. Feed that something. I said I feed mine tracks and rocks. No, that's cool that you don't. I'm really like that's a good thing. You don't have to deal with all that, of course, but it's crazy how I'm glad Ricky brought that up, because there's a lot of people that don't realize how. And I'm not trying to sound like it's so much easier or whatever, because y'all have other things to deal with. Like we don't have to deal with bears or lions. You know, we don't have to worry
Or dry
about
ground.
y'all grabbing our dog and biting on the head. There's a few bears here and there, but and we don't have to worry about dry ground.
Yeah.
You know, like it's drier here. It actually started raining. We've been in a drought, and it rained last night. It rained a little bit, and
Lucky.
yeah, oh yeah. But I was like, if there was any way I could have played hooky today, we would have been running. You know, but like
Yeah.
for us, the humidity was down to, I think me and Ricky were talking about this the other night. It's like in the 40% range, and we're talking about how dry it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even when it's raining, I don't think we're in humidity.
My dogs would have nosebleeds because it's so dry.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have clients that come from back east where it's nice and wet all the time, and their noses just struggle. They're running and they're just bleeding. They're dry. They're
I don't know that I
miserable.
could go out there. I went to New Mexico when I was a teenager, and it was rough. It was very dry. Plus, I'm white and redheaded, and I get sunburnt. So I was not white. I was just deep red, burgundy. Burgundy.
Oh, no, too.
Yeah. But like it is what it is, but those things right there, a lot of people don't take that into account when they're even getting a dog. They want a hound and or this or that. And I know guys here, they're like, man, I want some of those dry ground hounds. For what? What do we need them for? I mean, don't get me wrong. The old tracks and cold noses and all, that's great. But like you can get the same thing over here. It's just a little different style dog. And we don't need one that's take a 40-hour-old track.
Right.
If I'm going to do that, I got a cur dog got to do that.
Yeah. No,
that's
sure.
a lie. That was all a lie. Like
I was about to say, where's the punchline?
Hey, listen, I told a guy today, he was talking about it, and he's from Oklahoma, and he's all about hounds.
Oh, God bless.
And I love hounds. He's from northwest Oklahoma. And like, he was like, hounds. I was like, I love hounds. I've got hounds. But he was like, well, cur dogs don't hunt as hard. I was like, well, it depends on what cur dogs you have. He's like, well, I got cur dogs too. I was like, well, your cur dogs suck. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, if they don't hunt as hard as your hounds, then your cur dogs suck. I said, and if your hounds cannot outstrike your cur dogs, then your hounds suck.
Yeah, no joke.
And he was like, oh, so your hound? I said, well, I put my hound in the box the other day, and my cur dogs picked up the track that he didn't. He was like, what? I was like, yeah. I said, these are puppies. I said, it's just because they didn't know that they're cur dogs yet. Once they figure out they're cur dogs, they're not going to be worth a shit. I promise you. I'm dead serious on that. Like I was so happy. I was overly impressed. I made a post on Facebook, on TikTok and all that. I was like, dude, these puppies they were gone for 8 miles. They went 8 miles and they were gone for 6.5 hours with no old dogs. Jeez. I was like, oh my God. And they're full-blooded cur dogs. And I was like, yeah, once they figure out that part, they'll be 600 yards and back in 30 minutes.
Come back. Whole beer time.
Yeah. So do y'all have any cur dog style dogs out there or crosses at all, Kyle?
Yeah, for sure. I don't have any, but I mean, there's some dry ground like that have some leopard curs.
Oh yeah, for sure. All the shitbirds have them. I mean,
yeah, like those other guys that don't catch any, they got those dogs.
No, they definitely.
The weekend warriors, boy.
More than I do.
I wasn't trying to set that up, but it worked out great. If you ask me. No, I know there's a guy, Daryl Fry's got that striker stuff out of the Kimmer stock, and he uses it for lions and bears. I didn't know if you.
Yeah, there's some dry ground lion out there that have some cur dogs, the leopard cur and stuff like that mixed in.
Oh, okay.
I know in New Mexico, some bears, but a lot of his stuff is cur stuff from back east.
Got you.
But yeah,
I'm genuinely curious because I've got the little young bitch I've got right now is out of Huck's brother, and they say all he bred him to a leopard cur. What the F is a leopard cur dog?
Leopard hound with short ears.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
okay. What's a leopard hound?
Okay.
They're like kind of like a spotted dog. They're kind of cool looking.
Mhm.
They
I
kind
mean, I
of
know what they look
almost
like,
kind
but
of
what
got
the hell
colors
are they?
like one of them cow
Bean
dogs
sheets.
with the Australian
Yeah.
Australian shepherds or whatever, the blue merles and stuff. They can get some colors like that.
Yeah,
in
they
them.
got some
They're
wild
kind of
colors.
cool looking dogs.
Now there's some
Well,
purists. Ben Sheets, the one that does tree talking media.
yeah.
Ben raises leopard hounds and he hunts them and stuff. And the leopard hound and leopard cur, like, depending on who you ask, they'll tell you it's the same thing. Like there was more hound bred into it at one time. And some folks will say, well, it started out as a leopard cur and then they bred hound into it. And then that broke off and made the leopard hound. But Ben
Okay.
Sheets has the best information that I have found on it. And y'all make
So
sure
like
y'all
that
check out.
mama is like a yellow with brindle tiger stripe.
Mm.
I mean, is that considered a leopard cur dog?
Right, I don't know. I know they got different colors. I mean, it's not just the leopard or the blue merle like Kyle's talking about. I know there's other colors as well. Like there's solid colors and some brindling and stuff like that I've seen, but I don't know enough about it to tell you.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was curious if you knew more about it because the guy was real excited about the breeding that they've done, and the mama is just sure enough solo dog goes and does their own thing, finds her own pig, and she's just like a big yellow dog with leopard or like brindle tiger stripes and big ears though.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was just curious.
There's some guys over here that'll cross some hounds with like German short hair pointers and run them on lines.
Those are smart guys.
What does that do? What does that do?
Putting that bird dog in it. Yeah.
They got a nose on them. They and stamina. Like the problem I had with mine though, she was Walker and German short hair cross. I don't remember how much on which side. She looked like a German short hair. She was black and white. She was a nice dog. She lived to about 8 years old, but she had big feet on her, big toes, and just a big coon foot on her. And man, that dog broke a toe all the time. It was insane. That was her biggest downfall. Is her feet were terrible on her, and she was nothing real fancy. But I mean, she'd make trees and she'd make races and whatnot. And I kept her for a long time, but she was a nice dog. She was nothing special, but she was there. She would participate and she helped out a lot.
So you like a smaller foot? Is that what you're saying?
I like a tight foot. I like a smaller dog, really. I have
a small dog.
What's that?
What's a small dog for you?
I would say like 35 to 45 pounds.
Okay. Yeah.
Just a real tight. I have this little blue tip looking dog, and he is just, I call him my crackhead because he just never stops. That dog on the chain, he walks in circles all day long. Like he just never stops. He's the hardest dog I have to wear out. And he eats very little. he eats very little, and he can just go for days. He's just a brick shit house. He's just all muscle and super light and goes and goes and goes and just has no stopping him. And I have two other dogs that are gigantic. I am sad because one of them is my 7-month-old puppy, and he's already like he's like my second biggest dog I have, and he's 8 months old now. And I'm just, oh my God, stop growing. Yeah. And I have another dog that came from a buddy of mine here in town, and he's a nice dog. he makes races and he does good. He's a year old or year and a half old, something like that. But he's huge. He's like 80 pounds, and I can't stand it. But it is what it is, and I'll hunt him, and either if he earns his keep, maybe I'll keep him around. But more than likely, I'm gonna get rid of him because he's so big.
Yeah.
The size is the biggest thing with me on any dog. Like I said, I like those dogs that are 35 to 55 pounds, in that range. And then even some of mine probably are like 65 pounds. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I like the smaller dogs. They're just easy. You can put a lot of them in a dog box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was saying that this morning. I picked up that little bitch that's out of Huck's brother, and she's probably 45 pounds, and I just picked her up out of the counter and threw her on my shoulder and was walking over to take a picture of the deer, and I was like, that's why I want this little bitch to work out, because she's just like a pocket rocket. Like it would be awesome just if she worked, because she just gets in, you know what I mean? And she's a great little shit. I mean, I'm excited about it. I'm hoping we get so to me, there's an A, a B, and a C, and the A is the shot site, the B is where the deer is, and the C is the race if they're still alive. So she hasn't figured out the A to B, but she'll go to A to C in a freaking heartbeat. So she's all about the bay and all about racing one.
Nice.
We gotta get her to hone in that you gotta get the B to find C kind of deal. The older dog's been. He's been hitting the B, and then she comes in for C. So I'm all, she's got the grit, she's got the prey drive and all that stuff. So I'm excited about that, because that's one of those things that it's not. I don't think you can coach grit or prey drive into a dog. So I'm glad she's got that, and now we gotta kind of hone in and let her find some deer on her own that are, set her up for success, kind of like you were talking about, and with that, but by herself. You know what I mean? Not
Yeah,
have
that's
her
what I was gonna
rely
ask. What do you got to do to get her to go to A to B, then B to C? Like, what is your training consist of to get her there? Like, what do you do to make that happen? Is it just consistency on hunting her and putting her on game,
I think so. I think it's going to be consistency on setting her up on successful stuff. I'm always, and I heard this from a lot when I first started, and there's guys like, man, for what I do, and I don't know about anybody else, but for what I do, like trying to set that dog up for success the first year of their life is an important deal. So like when we dump on a track, and say it doesn't matter what it is, but the dog needs to go into the track expecting success every time, because on a wounded animal, like I need you to track the deer, whether he's dead at the end of the trail or whether he's going to be alive and then end up dead, or whether he's alive and stays alive. I need you to get to that deer and run the piss out of him until he can't run anymore, or run until he runs out of the country and we don't catch him, and then we rule him out as a survivable type deer. So it's to me, there's you can she's got the bay, she wants to roll. She was trying to catch that. Well, they did catch that doe yesterday, but she's all about that. And I'm thinking that the nose is going to come in. So for me, I'm gonna run her with this 2-year-old dog for probably the rest of the month on just all the what I call easier tracks, which is tracks that I schedule. So yesterday I had a track lined out first thing in the morning that I scheduled. It was on my time frame. The humidity is where I want it. The time frame's when I want it. You know what I mean? So it's on my schedule. The track I took midday with Huck was not on my schedule, was not on the humidity that I wanted. It was because I had to take it at that time because I had other shit going on. So I'm going to run those two on my scheduled stuff that I think is, anything liver, gut, anything like that I feel like is to us is an easier track. I'm going to run her on that, and then once I get to November, and if she's showing that she's like working, in between the A and C, then I'll put her on stuff that I know we'll find. So like deer that I've shot, deer that my buddies have shot, and then but run her by herself, and let her have that finish by herself without anybody there kind of deal.
Let her make the choices and make the decisions on what she needs to do and how to do it. And
right, but knowing that we will get to success, because worst case scenario, I'm gonna track the deer. Yeah. If I've got to coddle her on the way, whatever, as long as we end in a successful track, then I think it's a positive note. Because, like I said, go ahead.
I listened to that last podcast you did a while back where you were really describing it, and it was intriguing. Like it was. I liked a lot of the stuff you said. Like you set them up for success, so you're going to put them on a deer that is maybe it went 50 yards and died. You're going to put her on that track, so she's going to get to A to B to C. Yeah, it might be easy, but then you got to progressively make that tougher for her in a sense, right?
Right, and like I said, I've seen the bay, the sea. So like I don't have any worries about that. Like that's just in her blood.
Yeah. That's
like I don't. Yeah, you're not gonna. Like I had a dog several years ago, and it's actually a very similar breeding, and she would do the A to B really good. But when that son bitch ran, wasn't about it. Unless she was with another dog, she would do it, but by herself, she wouldn't do it. And it was like, to me, you can't train that part. I think that's kind of a given trait. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know how you train prey drive or grit.
Not unless you put them in like grit situations all the time, I guess, is the only thing that you could do. But you're either going to make a dog or ruin a dog, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially a young dog.
Yeah, try to force them into a situation that they don't want to be in anyways. You're ruin it.
What do you think about that, Joey?
You cannot, after all the years with the game dogs, you cannot train prey drive, hunt drive, or grit or gameness.
Yeah.
Those are things that the dog is born with. Like you're talking about putting them in a situation. Yes, you can build on it.
I feel like that'd just be expressing it.
Yeah, because some dogs can. Yeah. Some dogs, it's just like a kid, that's 14, 15 years old and he wants to box and he can take it. He might not want to take it at first, but he learns how to control it and to deal with it. But that's in his nature. That's not something, like you brought out in him. You can train him how to work. And there's
you train the skill level.
Yes,
you can't train the meanness. You can't make him mean.
That's exactly right. I've having dogs that'll just naturally go hunt. It's one of those things. It's just in the breeding. It's just in the dog. Like I was talking about those puppies. Like had one puppy, first time we ever carried him out. Like he just rolled out with the big dogs and was gone for 1.5 miles and backtracked by himself. He was just got off by himself. Well, we carried him out the other day for his second hunt. He just breaks off by himself and he goes and hunts his whole bottom for over 2 hours. He doesn't even know what he's doing. Mm-hmm. He has never seen any game in the wild. And that's what's bred into him. If we could train that, man, like it'd be amazing. I think we can coach them and just point them toward that area. I've heard that said before, and I know there are guys that they're like, well, I can train this dog to hunt. I don't know. You can't train hunt. You can train them how you want them to hunt. You see what I'm saying? If that was the case, then you would be, if you were a good trainer, you would have every dog would make it. There would never be a cull.
Right. You could literally do what some guys say. That there's guys out here like, oh, you could take a dog from the pound and go catch a bear. It's like, yeah, you probably could, but to consistently do it in different terrain, you're not going to do it.
I'm glad that's great right there. What you said. Because like we've all talked about this before, like Ricky, he travels all the time. He's constantly taking his dog going somewhere else. Most guys that are hunting, especially like guys that here in the South, we have one locale that we hunt and or one general area or one region or one style of terrain, and that's where we focus at. We don't know how good our dogs are until we take them to where they're not comfortable or where they've never been. And,
yeah, for sure.
And that's what we've been doing that for the past few years. And I'm gonna tell you, you'll see what you're feeding real quick.
100%. No,
I
exactly.
mean, sometimes that dog that was just so is actually way better consistently all across the board than the number one dog where you live at.
Yeah, for sure.
I got a story to tell about that. So it's probably February, March, whatever it was. My buddy Nick, he's out west of me, Snyder, Texas. He's probably 4 hours away, and he's got some country over there, and there's some high fences, but it's the Cap Rock of Texas, so it's like it's real rugged, mountainous, but not high elevation. It's like where it kind of begins, right? And there's this Cap Rock that runs the state, and then past that you get into like the western part of the state where the Davis Mountains and stuff like that is. So the Cap Rock's like the beginning, and then it gets over there, and then it turns into, you'll get up to 7,000, 7,500 elevation. So, anyways, he's got this high fence, and it's a big place, and it's got a pretty good section of that Cap Rock in it, and they've got some. It's not terribly overloaded with wild shit, but they have these different kinds of sheep out there. Well, this Uriel, I don't know how you say it.
Yeah.
Sheep is like this big giant, makes a big round. I mean, it's a badass looking sheep. And
Yeah, for sure.
they had a handful in this place. Well, I can't remember what time it might have been February. Season's over here. It's slowing down, and well, he had gone out of town. Well, he got a call to track this sheep, and he called me. He's like, "Hey, man, you want to make the drive?" And I was like, "I mean, I'm off tomorrow, but I mean, that's different country, whatever, And he said, "Well," he goes, "I'm gonna tell him to call you. You sort it out." And I was like, "All right." So he calls, and I'll tell him my number because it's 4 hour drives just one way. And they were like, it's a lot, but yeah, come on. So anyways, they had shot at the evening when they called me, and I said, "Man, I think I don't want to come right now." It was kind of weird. They had really long hair on the ground, which is normally the front neck and the chaps of that goat or sheep. It's a sheep.
Yeah.
And real long hair on the ground, and then a piece of horn. And I was like, so we got blood for 200 yards, and we jumped him, and he ran up the side of the Cap Rock and then rolled out. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I think he's hitting the shoulder. Maybe he's got a broke leg, which, a broke leg animal for us is something we can run till he days up. So I'm like, all right. I mean, it's possible. Now, mind you, this guy's paying. I don't get me lying, but like $20,000 or $30,000. So something stupid.
Right.
And so he's trying to find this son bitch. So I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll be there. And I'm looking at the weather, and like I said, this is 4 hours west of me in it's basically a different country compared to where I'm at. And I'm looking at it, it's like it's 40%. It didn't even get to 40. It was like the best we were gonna get was 25% humidity at like 5 a.m. And I'm like, fuck me, like we don't do this stuff. Like it's out of our league. I don't have a straight hound. Like my dog's got some cur in him. I mean, he ain't just some pin-headed hound. He's got a blockhead on him. He's got a little cur in there. So I'm like, well, I mean, I looked at the humidity. I said, the best bet is I'm going to get there at 5:30. and we're going to start them before it gets daylight. As soon as it got daylight, it was going less and less and less. And
Yeah.
so we get there at 5:30, and we turn out, and of course we get to the last bed where they jump this sheep. They go straight up the mountain, and it starts to get daylight, and and Huck's piddling around, and he's taking the track. He's like, "Oh yeah, he went this way, went that way," Well, right at daylight, about where this last little spot was, there's a rock crevice, and I'm watching him, and he snows down. I mean, he's working, and he gets to the other side of the cliff, and I see him, and he's clawing rocks and dirt, and he's sticking his nose in it. He go 10 feet up, and he claws fucking rock, and then he sticks his nose in it. And then he was working his way up this little rock face, and I was like, I've never seen that. We don't have just like rock cliffs and shit over here. Like I've never seen it, and turns out it's pretty normal. I guess I don't know. Your dogs
will lick
climb
the
a rock.
rocks. They'll lick the rocks to bring the moisture back into it. They'll lick them.
What?
So like trailing lions, their lip right below their nose will be just plumb raw.
Oh,
but they're just licking the rock, trying to put moisture back into it. Yeah.
We were trying to figure out what Rick was doing the other day, and he was going, and I was like, what's See, I can talk that shit too, Kyle.
Good, boy.
Just spit on it.
They really lick the rocks. I've heard that before though, for real. That's too much almost.
Cool.
That's almost too much.
That's it. You can't teach though. Like that dog has to just.
If I see you trying to teach that son of a bitch to lick a rock, I'm gonna be worried.
Well, Ricky's over there on the ground with him.
Ricky's like, "Hand me that sandstone now. Give it here. Hurry up.
Give me that right now, whatever it takes."
Do it.
Oh my God, we should not be having so much fun. That's awesome.
So anyways, he's walking up this cliff face, and he's nosing down and doing his thing, and I'm just kind of like, I'm just watching because I ain't never seen this shit before, and there's not grass anywhere in sight. It's whatever. I don't know what the fuck y'all's country is. It ain't my country. So he's working his way up there, and hell, we get a couple 100 yards up. We get to the top of the cap rock, and then it's just nothing but cedars and rock. And he's weaseling through there, and we don't get nothing lined out. And I go ahead, dude. I knew I was gonna walk to the ends of the earth and back just to try to get this sumbitch jumped up in case he was broke leg and he just wasn't putting off smell. And once we get him jumped, maybe we'd have him. Well, we never got him jumped. Whatever. And I'm not mad at it because I didn't really have high expectations. I don't think anybody really did. We knew he was probably next shot.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we get back home, and I call my buddy Nick. I'm like, man, we didn't find it. He was like, well, what, whatever. And I was like, well, gosh dang, you put me in a desert. This fucking wind was blowing 40 miles an hour out of the north. It was 25 degrees. I was making up all kinds of shit, excuses.
Yeah, this of them, huh?
Yeah. And, so, anyways, later that afternoon, the outfitter sends me a picture of the sheep. Got him. And I was like, got him? Like, what do you mean got him? He was like, we found him. He was like 200 yards over here dead. And I said, what? And he's like, yeah, you went up top, and then he went over 200 yards to the right. And I said, man, we kind of walked through that area. And he's like, nah, I'm just fucking with you. We shot him again. He was 2 miles away. And I was like, shit. I was like, you son of a bitch. He's like, yeah. He goes, he said, check this out. Well, he sent me the picture. Oh boy, it shot him right through the jaw. Hit him right in the face and blew the horn off the exit side. Just put a perfect little notch in the horn on the offside. I don't know where the neck hair came from or the long ass hair. I don't know their whatever, but anyways, yeah, he was jaw shot, which, I mean, I don't know if we would have jumped him, what would have happened out of that. I don't assume he would have stopped, but
yeah, for sure.
I doubt it, but maybe, who knows? And so anyways, I had a moment of like, gosh dang it, man. Nick sent me over here, and I just charged these guys a lot of money and didn't do it. Well, no, it was it was all good, but it was cool watching him work his way through that kind of country and never seeing. I mean, I ain't like I said, I know we got rocks over here, but it'll be like lower creek bottoms, and then you
Right.
come out on top and it's oak bottoms and stuff. So it was just interesting to see him claw that rock out of the way. What the shit, And
Yeah.
speaking of that, like I was telling a story today uh about him running a deer. We ran a deer and was going through some. He jumped the deer, ran the piss out of him, and it's at night. It's all damp, dewy. Everything's the right conditions, right? Well, we jumped the deer and ran his doors off. The deer got away, right? Well, we were kind of getting to where Huck had last. I could tell he was still chasing him, and then he ran off. Well, we kind of got over there, and we're seeing a little blood, and I kind of shine a light. And he's 50 yards ahead of us, and I see these eyes like 3 foot off the ground, and I was like, "What the shit is that? The deer?" Well, I kind of move over, and I look, and I shine a light. Well, there's Johnson grass that's probably titty high, and Huck is on his hind legs walking through that freaking Johnson grass, smelling the tops of the Johnson grass, trying to get the trail.
No kidding. That's cool.
I can't make the shit up. I'm telling you, I've seen his eyeballs, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And sure enough, he was, deer shoulder height, trying to smell that shoulder. That's where the scent was. I mean, he was
Yeah.
genuinely on his hind legs trying to
Just
smell that
drive.
Johnson
Yeah.
grass.
That's cool.
And it was, I wrote that down in a freaking spot somewhere, and I was like, I will never forget that. Seeing those eyeballs, and then him trying to get where the scent was, which was 3 foot off the ground, where that deer had ran through there. That it was pretty cool.
So on those wounded deer, what are they? What's he smelling? Is he smelling the blood, or do they put off a scent when they're wounded, or?
Yeah,
how
there's
does that-
everything. I mean, there's obviously the blood and everything that comes out of them, but they've got a gland in their hoof too. Like elk don't have it, but deer, whitetail do. There's a little gland in their hoof that they say puts out an odor, and I mean, there's got to be something in there, because we'll go to a feeder that somebody shot a deer on, and there've been 10 deer there that morning,
They pick
and
the
he'll
right
take
one.
off. Yeah, and he'll take off on the right one, and it's
That's
like,
cool.
and when there's no blood, a lot of times
Yeah.
that's what they're trailing, is that hoof. That's what it tell you. I don't know, but
Oh, that's cool though. I mean, it's kind of it's interesting. I've listened to some of the podcasts you've talked about it, and it's just intriguing because everybody's always looking for a blood dog. Everyone's like, "Oh, you got a blood dog? A blood dog?" And I'm like,
it's really not blood.
"Yeah, there's not blood." And that's I've heard it from somebody else was talking about it too, and they said the gland thing. I didn't know elk didn't have it or anything like that.
Yeah, elk
But
don't have it for some reason, but. I mean, it's all the things. I mean, they're putting off dander and all kinds of shit, and I think they put it all together. But no, I like, so the deer we found today at midday. They had pushed them. They had probably went probably 700-800 yards in like a half circle. But the only reason they were doing that is because they were seeing blood. And I pray that there's no blood, because it just makes hunters go further down the damn track and ruin it more.
100%, yeah. Sure.
Like the more blood there is, the further they'll go, and it's just like,
That's crazy.
Oh, he's bleeding out, man. He's gonna die any second. I'm like, no. Just rarely do they just bleed like a sumbitch and die a mile later. Like there's a lot of muscle shot type like wounds that are not inside the cavity of a deer that bleed like a stuck hog, but it's just bright red muscle blood that's not mortal. You know what I mean?
But it's kind of crazy too. You can pick like the time you want to go and trail it. You have this time.
You can and you can't. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, to be able to be like, okay, let's hold off until the humidity gets like this to trail. I mean, it's kind of it's interesting. It's I mean, I'm a huge fan of working dogs of all sorts and stuff. A buddy of mine in New Mexico has some cow dogs, and he sends me a video of that dog just rounding cattle up. And I'm just like, that's so cool. It's just interesting to see all the different styles and different ways people hunt dogs for different things and different animals and different styles for certain animals. And it's just it's just crazy, like there's just different ways for everything.
They can do it all, man. They really
Yes,
can. I mean, you talk to guys, like I talked to a guy in New Zealand that trees goats with dogs. You ever heard of that?
No.
There's feral goats all over New Zealand, and the dogs will run them and they will tree. I've got videos of fucking goats 20 foot up in a tree with dogs treeing them. I swear to God.
I couldn't imagine putting my dog on goats. I mean, I'm sure they would run them, but
Yeah, like it's just cool because dogs can, I mean, their nose is next to, better than anything on the planet. But it's like,
right.
I mean, you literally, you can, I mean, obviously they got to have the drive, but you can pretty much put them on anything and they're going to be better than humans at it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just finding what works for you, and what you're doing and how you're hunting and it's just cool to see dogs do different things and whatnot.
Yeah. No, I always, it's the deer tracking deal, like it's different throughout the country. Like a lot of states up north are running smaller dogs on leashes and harnesses, and they have to, some places you can't dispatch a deer with the dog present and stuff like that. And there's a whole different, it's like from the north to the south, there's a different spectrum of blood tracking dogs. Like it's the same thing as running a bear in Georgia and running a bear in Arizona. I mean, it's a bear, but it's not the same damn thing.
Oh, 100%, for sure. My dogs probably definitely wouldn't hack it over there. They'd be like, "What's all this water doing?"
Yeah, what do you have to swim? What the shit is this?
Yeah, swim. What's that?
I guarantee you they'd be lost in your country.
And stick their feet in the water and they'll be like, "No, I'm not doing that."
Nah.
What is this? This doesn't make sense.
Who was it? It was Case. Case talked about when they got like a couple inches of rain in South Texas. It's been a few months back, and so all the creeks were kind of flooded there at that little time,
Uh-huh.
And his dogs, like the young dogs, had never even seen that.
Yeah.
So he was like, they wouldn't even cross the creek. I was like, really? He was like, yeah. He's like, they had never even seen it,
That's lava. That's lava. You can't see that.
I thought that's pretty cool. But like you said, dogs, it's crazy. We talked to an anthropologist this past weekend, and he came and stayed with us and hunted. And he's new to the whole running dogs deal. He's doing studies, and he just got back from Africa. That's the one I was telling you about, Ricky. Like he was with the Hadzabe tribe, and they actually tree monkeys with their dogs. Yeah, they
goats, monkeys,
They
how the heck do you tree a monkey? Can't they jump from tree to tree?
Yeah, but like I don't
like
know.
A squirrel shit.
Yeah, I think say it's more like squirrel hunting, but
right.
And
yeah, exactly. A good squirrel dog, huh?
And their dogs, he said that they didn't like trash break them off anything because they would cull a dog if it didn't hunt everything.
No kidding.
Yeah, they want full meat dogs. I was like, well, I mean, I get it. I understand. And like you said, they had difference in. We were talking about moisture and humidity, and he brought up the thing. He was like, yeah, he said they do more big game during the wet season, and a lot more smaller game during the dry season. And he said, I bet that's what it's got to do with the tracking ability and all, which I don't know how that is over there. It's all dry and sandy. But I just thought it was cool that they could tree monkeys, I was like, that's pretty wild.
That's super wild. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we got Cuda Mondays down here, and they're kind of like a monkey, and there's some guys down south that
Cuda what?
And they're called Cuda Mondays.
Yeah.
So they look like a cross between a monkey and a raccoon. They're red and brown looking with kind of like a longer snout, and then they have like a ringtail cat looking tail on them. They're kind of wild looking, but
don't they have those in Mexico, like down in Cancun and shit?
probably. Well, I don't know about.
They
I
have.
know down on the border, I'm sure they have them. Yeah.
Well, I know they have what is it? The ringtail, Nate. That Case said they had down there. Not Dakota Monday,
Oh,
but
that's different. Ringtail cat. That's a little different. That's a little cat. Like it's super
Yeah, we got
small.
those too.
I don't
We
know. He
have
just
some of
said it was a
those, too.
ringtail. I don't know, but I don't know if they had Dakota Mondays because we were we went all the way down. We were right at the border, and if there had been any Dakota Mondays there, we would have ran them because we were hog hunting. You know what I'm saying? I would have ran something else.
Awesome, Cuda Monday, wet. Yeah.
There
All
was
those
no
things.
There's no armadillos in South Texas. Not where I was
There's
at.
not much that lives in South Texas, is there?
Like we didn't run any, so I don't believe there's any armadillos there.
Yeah. I know they're in southern Arizona and maybe a little bit in western New Mexico. I'm sure there's some in northern Mexico, but yeah, they're just crazy little monkey looking thing. People call them monkeys, but I've glassed some up and think they're lions. They got kind of a long tail on them and whatnot, but
But they're reddish in color, right?
yeah, they're like a red and black. You like kind of
I'm
dark face
Googling this
and
shit. I
a
gotta
red
see
body,
it.
yeah, dark head. They're kind of cool looking, but yeah, some guys get into them with dogs and they're kind of mean. They got some teeth on them and claws on them, and they grab a hold of dogs, and then 4 other dogs grab a hold of the Cuda Monday and start ripping on it, and it's not so much the animal tearing up the dog; it's the other dogs ripping the animal off the dog that it's latched to that it really hurts, you know.
Yeah, they have those things down in
kill dogs,
Cancun.
you know.
I swear to God, I've seen them down there. They're like, got a big long tail. Yeah, I'm Googling it right now. Look it up. Yeah, they have those down in. We went to Mexico not too long ago, and we were, whatever, vacation, me and the wife, and those little some bitches are in the jungle. They're just running around everywhere.
Yeah.
They're like a big ass coon with a long snout, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and a ringtail looking tail on it.
Yeah.
You know, like they're kind
I didn't know they were all the way up in Arizona.
Yeah, shit. We had somebody hit one with a car right here in the White Mountains. You know, and that's a long ways. That's a long ways north of down south, but they're definitely very prevalent down in the desert units. I have a buddy that hunts down there, and he gets into them quite a bit. You know, and some people say they smell like bears, similar to a bear or a coon. You know, so they're kind of hard to break because of that. But I mean, you just got to break them.
That's what they say about the armadillo and the hogs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
That's exactly what they say. They're like, well, armadillos, they smell a lot like a hog. No, that's just something they make up to make themselves feel better.
Make their excuse for a dog.
Yeah, you trash break your damn
guys that
dog.
don't catch hogs, but they only catch armadillos.
Yeah, it's like, okay, and we do it all the time. But at the same time, it's just because my dogs suck, and I know that. So I'm not gonna say, oh, that armadillo smells like a pig.
It's like my dog's eating a skunk. You know, I mean, it happens. They come across something little and. A dog's nature, they're going to destroy anything that's smaller than them in a varmint, you know.
What all kind of stuff do you have to break them off of? Speaking of which, I mean, you said skunks and then Dakota Monday.
Javelina's a tough one.
Yeah.
They can be pretty bad on dogs. I've seen them gut dogs and cut throats, and we've had to staple dogs up pretty good from javelina because they just bang up and they fight. And they're not like a hog. They say a javelina can chomp like a hog, but they can also move the lower jaw like side to side.
Mm-hmm.
So when they grab a hold, they just destroy dogs. And javelina, deer, elk. We have mule deer. We have coos deer, which is a whitetail, but they call them coos deer over here. And then coyotes. Coyotes are a big one. Coyotes are tough. I struggle with coyotes. Don't know why, but every now and again we go down a rabbit hole of running coyotes or trying to trail coyotes and whatnot. And then, but like elk and deer, all that stuff. I rode my dogs a lot in the off season and even during season. I kind of got away from rigging as much, and I kind of rode them and free cast them more. But roading has been nice because you're always experiencing them to deer and elk and everything like that. So they're always running through them, and you'll get a puppy every now and again that is interested in them. But for the most part, everybody's pretty much broke off hoofed animals. It's the coyotes are a problem. Porcupines used to be a problem. That was fun. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty. Coyotes and fox are probably the worst thing to break them off of.
Okay.
The hardest thing to break them off of, anyways.
I got you.
I purposely will try to, like today, I ran this older track in the middle of the day, and I was like, I'm gonna put the puppy down with Huck, and Huck, we've talked about, is known for being a dickhead, and he's not a good puppy trainer, but I'm thinking the odds of us finding this deer is pretty slim, but the odds of us running into a pig on this track are pretty strong. So this could be a training scenario. Well, I'd break her off pigs, kind of deal. And of course, Huck smoked the track and then found the deer, and we didn't run into any pigs. But no, I was gonna say, Joe, I was gonna talk about that Ehrlichia for a minute. I don't know everything about it, but I was gonna kind of talk about what has happened to me in the last week or so.
I got you.
You go with that?
Yeah.
So,
whatever you want.
well, it was weird. It's different to me. I've never had the issue. So my older dog, that's no bullshit, jumped up kennel. I don't have to, whatever. He's finished dog. So we left. We had a 16, 18-hour-old gut shot from the night before. Got there at noon. We had a really wet dew that morning, and then it, dried up. So we had all the excuses not to find this. To me, like say you've got a blood trail from the night before, and then you have a really heavy dew that next morning, and then by the time noon comes around and that wet dew is gone, like the trail is pretty well pestered. Like it's not gone, but it's harder. It's it's gotten wet and then it's dried up again. So, anyways, it's a gut shot deer that we knew was gut shot. I could just tell by the arrow, and he couldn't trail it. And I'm like, well, it's dry, it's hot, there's wet dew, blah blah, whatever. So the next day, I called the guy and I was like, hey, I want to go try to win that deer for you. I said, I think he's dead. He's like, all right, here, go for it. Well, we went out there, we were on the ground for 10 minutes, and Huck winded the deer from wherever, 400 yards away, and went and found it, but couldn't trail it the day before. So I'm like, that's kind of weird, but it is dry and shitty conditions. But we went back in the middle of the day the next day, and he winded it. So I don't know, it just seemed weird. And so the next morning, I get a call. I got 2 calls lined up. One's at 8, and another guy calls, and I got a gut shot. And I'm like, man, I can only go if we go at 5 a.m. And he's like, all right, that's fine. I'll meet you out there at 5 a.m. So get out there, and it's like perfect conditions. It's 67 degrees. There's wet, dewy, nice pasture where the top was, and then down into a bottom. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be gravy, Well, mind you, this is the dog that's 8 years old that's finished, does the deal. Well, drop him, and he's working his way through it, and no bullshit, hour and a half goes by, and we find the deer 400 yards later. And I'm like, not normal. Like for him, like a 400-yard track, you mean at most 30 minutes tops, and that's like on dry conditions, shitty conditions were perfect. We let the deer sit, like everything was right. So I was like, man, that's fucking weird. Well, later on that day, we had another call, and it was middle of the day, and it was one of those ones that was kind of, we're gonna have to scratch it out, but hey, Huck's old man, he can do it. I drop him on the ground, he runs a lap around the feeder pen, and jumps back in his truck. I'm like, what the shit? Like this dog doesn't, like, he don't want to be in the truck. Like he's not that dog. And I'm like, man, that is fucking weird. So I load them up, put the pups down, whatever. We run them. They don't find it. well, I'm headed home, and I call one of Taylor up here in Oklahoma, and I said, man, what do you think? He's like, dude, when you told me about that gut shot 2 days ago, he goes, I think there's something wrong with Huck. I said, well, what do you think? He's like, well, we got that Ehrlichia, which is like a tick fever, they call it. I'm sure it's got all kinds of names. He said, man, that sounds like what Jitsi does. Well, his main dog has had it for years, and every once in a while he'll notice she'll start acting kind of weird, and she'll have like I don't know all the scientific shit behind it, but like it'll kind of flare up, and it'll make the dog. They'll have like muscle soreness and cramps and weakness. They'll get they'll get hot, and their brains don't work right. And obviously for Huck, like his nose wasn't working right
Hmm.
compared to what I know he's capable of. So now this is just in my experience. So, anyways, we he tells me that. I was like, man, I'm gonna call the vet. I'm gonna get him checked. So run down the vet. It's Friday. I squeeze in at 4:30 right before they close. Run his blood. Oh yeah, he's got Ehrlichia. And I was like, okay. And they said, just barely showed up, which I don't know how the damn test worked. He was acting like it mildly showed up. So this is a Friday night, and he's like, we'll start this doxycycline. We'll run it for 30 days. And, most likely, since we caught it early, he said it was early, that we'll be good to go. So I got him on the doxy, and that was last Friday. And run some tracks over the weekend. He's acting fine. I've heard other dogs will not act fine. They'll be beat down. Like Rusty's talking about his dogs, like a couple of those dogs he had were, they were fucked up pretty good from it. And, like almost took a year to get him out of it kind of deal. So, yeah. But Taylor's like, man, after about 4 or 5 days, he ought to pop back around, and be right. And I was like, all right, we'll see what's going on. So today was a good showing. So like we've been on it for, gosh, damn, I'm getting my days crossed, but 5 or 6 days. And today, when he ran that track, I was like, man, it's middle of the day, probably going to have a hard time, and he smoked it. So I think we're back to normal, or close. Being on that antibiotic, and they're like, you can run it for 30 days. It'll knock that Ehrlichia down to what do you call it, like a remission type deal. Like it's always going to be there, but you can knock it back down. So, anyways, I had another buddy call me on the way home talking about his dogs were kind of having a hard time, which this time of year for us is hard for us. Like I know y'all got way drier climate over there, but for us, you get 20-30%. Like our dogs are retarded. So
Yeah.
I had a buddy calling. I was like, man, you might go check. Like, I mean, that's what just happened to my dog, and so I'm curious to see what happens. But for anybody out there that's got a dog that you trust and is doing you can count on them. They start doing some weird shit. Like you might go get them checked. There's just a little blood draw, and they check them for that tick fever. And I think it's not you can't cure it, but I think you can kind of treat it and keep it at bay. So, yeah, and you can run as much preventative as you want. Like I run mine on the Superico, whatever you call it, and keep them pretty on top of it. I'm probably not the best, but it's not like they're not getting preventative, and you can get a tick bite, and the tick don't stay, but he bites them and then rolls on. And it can still give them this tick fever or whatever you want to call it. So just the experience that I went through in the last week, and being deer season and my lead dog's not doing what he's supposed to do is kind of stressful. So I'm thinking I hope we're through I hope today showed me that his nose is working again, but And I think he was probably working on about 70% nose, and maybe today it was 90% nose. I'm hoping by, end of the weekend we're at 100%, hopefully. So
Maybe so.
if
I
you ever
hope
got a
so.
if you ever got a dog that's acting weird, it's worth a shot. It's like 15 minutes at the vet, and they can check it and tell you. So
Yeah,
just throwing that out there.
yeah, no, that's something to think about there for a lot of people. I get a lot of questions all the time, asking about dogs and the way they act and different things like, me and you talked about Huck earlier, we talked about first you talked about the thyroid deal.
Right.
And then you said you had it checked and it was good and it was Ehrlichia. But like before Rusty told me that, I didn't even know what Ehrlichia was. I've only known about it the past 2-3 years, probably 3 years now. And I've had dogs that done exactly what you're talking about, and I didn't know what was wrong with them.
Yeah.
Like you said, a dog that is a finished, like a sure enough dog.
You can count on.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's just like, I ain't doing it. Or he's tired, or he's just hot for no reason, you know?
Yeah.
It's weird. So, yeah, get them checked, man. No doubt.
It was without knowing, I would have just been, tracking when, and like if you're not getting the antibiotic, I think it gets worse and worse. So like, without having somebody tell me, I would have never known. I would just been thinking he got old and he sucks now. So,
I don't think that's the case.
no, well, I mean, it's one of those deals. Like who knows? This is my first, like, I mean, I've had good dogs, but he's like the first sure enough dog that I'd count on. And I don't know what happens when they get to 8 years old. I mean, is it normal for them to just start sucking? I don't know. So finding that out and him pulling that, which it wasn't like a crazy hard track today, but it was not like it wasn't a layup puppy track by any stretch of the imagination. So it was gave me a little hope. So I'm like, all right,
reassuring.
Yeah. I mean, which I need to run these younger dogs anyway, so I was using it as an excuse the last 3 or 4 days. Like, oh, Huck's sick, which he acts fine. Like he ain't acting. He don't look it. He looks pretty damn good, and acts fine. So I was like, man, but I'm like, oh, he's sick. That way, whenever people are, where's Huck? Because everybody knows the damn dog. When I pull up, they're like, where's Huck dog? And it's like, well, Huck's sick. He's got a fever. Here's the puppy. We're gonna try to find him with them.
No, for sure. And everything happens for a reason too. Like there's a day where he might feel down, and you'll take a puppy out, and maybe that puppy just super shines on you that day. And it just like everything clicks for him. I mean, like tomorrow when I go out, I might leave my best dog at home because he's still not quite feeling it. He's 6, he's not old by any means, but it does take him a little longer to heal than these 2-year-olds and year-and-a-half-olds, so they're ready to go. They're full of piss and vinegar, and he's still a little sore, so I might leave him at home and just take the young dogs and see what we can do with him. And
yeah, you got a quote unquote, you got an excuse, even though damn well you take it tomorrow, you're gonna go.
Yeah, for sure. I don't ever leave home without that dog. Hey, you're barely walking. I'm like, well, you can at least ride the rig.
He's still better than most dogs. Even him on his worst days, better than some of these potlucks.
Oh gosh, dude, for sure. No, exactly.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I got to run the 2-year-old dog a couple times, and I swear he's on the spectrum, but my God, he'll do it. But it's like other times I'm like, gosh, damn, what is wrong with you, dog? Like, what are you?
I think that comes with experience too.
Maybe. I don't know. I want to slap the piss out of him, but
yeah. So I got a question. How long do you give a dog to prove itself before you get rid of it or pass it on to somebody else? Like how old is the dog?
This one's on his last little leg. No, I don't know. I had a dog that was similar bred to this little Jip I've got, and I just really wanted her to work. And she looked the part. She really looked cool. That was that was what
Yeah.
my major holdup.
Those are the ones that never work out. The ones that you like.
I
for the
know
looks,
it.
so.
And she was related to Huck, so I was like, I really wanted to work, and I
Yeah.
gave her 3 years. I gave her 3 seasons,
Yeah.
and finally we were midway through the year, and I watched her watch a deer run off that I knew was fucked up, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's it.
All right.
I'm done. I'm not
Yeah.
wasting any more time. So
Yeah.
I don't think I will ever go 3 years. I think 2 years is going to be like, when I say
Nice.
3 years, like 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whatever it is, 3.5, 2.5, whatever it is, if they're
Right.
like, this dog's 2.5, but he's on his third season. So,
Yeah.
got him on a handful, throughout the last 2 years. Um, I think this is like, I feel like, and I said this last year, I'll know by December if he's going to do it. Well,
Yeah.
him and my main dog don't get along, so I can't run them together, blah, 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 all these excuses. So he's going to get this season to prove himself. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping that even him kind of being, even if he doesn't make it, but he's kind of like, he knows the trail, like he knows the A to B part, right? And he does the C, but he's just, like I say, he's kind of special ed. So I'm hoping that he'll teach the A to B to this little Jip dog, and maybe at least get her kind of started. And if I have to call him at the end of the season, at least I can get her started with his whatever it is, lack of shit. He's doing some things right. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's not
Right.
like, I'm
Yeah.
not
No,
gonna.
for sure.
I don't want to call him yet because he's doing some things right. So I'm hoping maybe a little of the good stuff will work on her for the next couple weeks, and then I can probably November. I'm gonna try to start putting her on her own on some easier type stuff. The weather will be better, and then whatever. So, but no, I think 2 years is going to be my max, or 2 seasons, two whatever, 2 to 3 seasons between that 2-year-old and Mark is kind of going to be my line. I'm never going to let one go 3.5 again. I promise you that.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of the same way I am. I mean, by the time they're a year and a half old, because I mean, I'll start hunting them as soon as they can, I mean, whether it's 6 months or 8 months or a year old, I start hunting them, but I try to give them 2 seasons. And usually you can tell I don't like a dog that doesn't go. If everybody's going on a track and you're standing next to me, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good. But I mean, you usually can tell, within that first couple of seasons that they're going to make something or not, and it's tough because you don't want to. It's hard to keep them around and feed them and hope they're going to do something, and then I just feel like you're wasting time because by the time they're a year and a half, 2.5 years old, they should be rolling.
Yeah.
They should make races and they should be participating, and at least on my end, anyways.
Yeah, I whenever people, and once again, this is my minimal experience. I don't calling a dog at 1 year old is kind of crazy to me because I would have gotten rid of Huck, my main dog, at 1 year old,
Right.
judging by the way he acted. And when it was like it was this certain, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a certain track on him when he was 2.5, and that was the one. And that was what after that it was all freaking gravy after that. But it was up until he was 2 before he did it.
Yeah,
And,
no, for sure.
And his brother was doing it at 1, and still does it just as good or better than Huck does. And but it's just some dogs are different. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's guys that will keep a dog for 4 or 5 years before they say it starts doing anything, and
I don't know about that.
To me, that's a waste of time because in 4 or 5 years, you could take a dog that's 2 years old, a couple of dogs that only take years to start rolling, and then I don't know. I like quick learners. I like
Oh, I
dogs.
mean, I would love
I
that.
like dogs that are going to
I
start.
agree. That'd be awesome.
Mhm.
I'm few and far between for me. I haven't had good luck with early starters like this. This little jip dog, or, she bayed a deer last year at 5 months old, and it was like,
Wow.
wow, for me, that's young, and I was not expecting it whatsoever. But she did that, and I was like, we're not gonna have to worry about prey drive. Like I think, we're good there, and she's shown that this first couple weeks of season too. So,
Heck yeah.
but it's like I've never, and I don't like I said, I've got limited experience too, so I don't know. I've never had just like one that came out the gates doing it, And
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I have a lot to learn still. I'm still learning every day. I take my dogs out. I mean, I don't claim to know everything, and that, like, my 7-month-old, from day one when I brought him home, he had nothing to do with me. All he wanted to do was be with the older dogs. I got let him run around my yard, and he would just go hang out with the other dogs. He would be
that's
around the
cool.
other dogs. 3 months old, I was taking him with me when I would road him. And I would road him a couple miles and then throw him back in the truck and road him and throw him back in the truck. And by the time he was 5 months old, he was keeping up on, like, I could road him 5 miles, 6 miles with the other dogs, and he would stay by the truck, and he wouldn't even stay by the truck. He would stay with the dogs closest to the truck, but he would be out and about doing his own thing, didn't care, didn't need my attention, didn't need anything from me, just loved being with everybody else. And man, it's been
It's a pleasure.
so fun to watch him to work, because he just wants to be with the other dogs. He's part of the team already, and he's ready to go. He's ready to hunt, ready to go. He doesn't need petting. He doesn't need the loving. He just wants to go. He wants to hunt. That's all he wants to do.
That's
Heck
that's
yeah.
cool. It makes it a whole lot easier to like give them that
Oh yeah.
leniency when they act stupid or when
Right.
they're you know what I mean. It's just
Yeah,
to
yeah.
me. I was telling my buddy today is like it'd be really cool if like this dog that I'm talking about is kind of doing it, but he's a dipshit. So it's like it's harder for me to want to mess with him, but he's
Right.
kind of doing it. So it's like I can't get rid of him. But it'd be really cool if he was kind of doing it and not being a dipshit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I get it.
The other day when we got our asses kicked running that bear, that puppy was the only one that didn't make the whole race, and there was times we would jump up some deer and he would be with me, and you could tell he could smell those deer, and he'd start whining and zigzagging, and I'm just like, leave it, like, let's go, keep going, and he thank God he was tired enough he wouldn't just go burn them out of the country, but he would just stay with me, and it was like, nope, that's not where we're running, that's not what we want, let's go, keep moving, move along. And no, he would just get excited. You could tell he could smell them when we'd walk through their beds and stuff like that. But he didn't just blow up out of the country chasing them or anything like that. He'd just keep them close and keep them moving through it. And the dog is super smart like that. I'm so grateful for this dog because he's a super nice dog, and I think he's going to be a very, very good asset. Other than he's going to be gigantic.
Hey, if he gets too big for you, I know where he can go. I don't judge. I was 35, 95, whatever.
Oh man.
My buddy Michael runs them 95-pound dogs. I'm telling you, and they'll freaking trail and they'll run a deer across the country. I mean, I'm
Right.
serious. You look at
Oh,
them,
I
you would
believe it.
never expect it, and they do. I mean, but I get it. I get it. You like what you like. I understand.
And it's not like I don't like the dog. The dogs are not the two that I have that are big. They're nice dogs. It's just they just don't fit my bill of style, I guess, so to say.
I get it.
It's like, man, I tell everybody, I'm like, I just hope he proves himself. I hope he just is just such a superstar that I can't get rid of him.
Undeniable.
Yeah, undeniable, exactly. Because that's the only way he's staying. Because the size is just ungodly, too much.
Yeah, the goofball dog that I'm talking about is probably 75 pounds, but he's pit bull, cur, and hound. and maybe some Catahoula in there somewhere. Anyway, good old junkyard
Unmentionable.
dog. Yeah, but he's got a big ass block head and he's built like a brick shit house. And I can't put the collar on him on the back of the truck. He's trying to push through me. He's so fucking strong. It's like, dude, just chill out. Like it's that little. I'm like, you don't even realize what he's capable of. Like I think he could jump on the nap of a deer and just take him down and just like
Oh, for
manhandle
sure.
him. Like he's just freaking. He's just strong. He's just if I'll send you a picture later, he's like a freaking thoroughbred brick shit house. But it's like him 75 pounds versus this little 45-pound jit bitch. Like it's a whole lot easier to get in dog boxing now and all these things. And his big ass, he's just so damn strong. You don't even realize what he's doing. Like, he'll run through the yard and come by you and knock you off your feet. He's not even trying to. He's just
It's
like he's just being a goober, and he's got that deal, and it's like, gosh damn, he's retard strength is what it is. I'm
right, exactly.
It's just retard strength.
That's that little dog I have. He's 35, 40 pounds, whatever he may be. When I put him on the rig, like my hunter tried undoing him when we struck the other day, and he can't pull his head down to unsnap him.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
He's
this
strong.
dog. Like people look at that dog and they're like, oh, I call him my Chihuahua because he kind of looks like an overgrown Chihuahua, but he is just a stout little shit, man. And he's just, you got to jerk his head down to get him unclipped because if you let him manhandle you, he's gonna manhandle you all day long. Yeah. It's insane, man. It's just, and he just goes all the time, all day. The dog just doesn't stop, and it's crazy. He looks nothing. He looks like nothing. He looks little skinny. Like, oh, that's just a little weasel, and he's just all muscle.
This one's the opposite. He looks the part, and he acts the part. He just you're like, he looks it. He definitely looks it, but no. I know we're getting it. We're a little over 2 hours now. You got like a good story we can close out on? Like anything. I don't give a shit what it is. Bears, lions, whatever. You got a cool story?
I think I told them all already.
Yeah. You have like a short race where you had somebody lined up and they were there and it was a good bear, or to me, like, I love a good long track that like just proves that the dog can do it. Like you run a mile and a half, 2 miles for me as a long track, and then you capitalize and find that deer. It's pretty cool. But then like it's also really cool to jump one at 100 and bam up in the river 200 yards away because you were smart and you waited long enough to get him sick and make it happen quickly. There's just different, to me, there's different cool tracks that were like, one might have been easier, one might have been harder, but like at the end of the day you can appreciate what just happened. Whatever that might be. So I don't know if you had any like short race or a long deal that was like memorable, or like a client you had that was memorable.
Actually, a couple years ago, Dad and I, we went into the same country that we went into the other day. Probably 3 or 4 years ago, we went in there. It was November, middle of November. We went in there looking for bears, and I knew there were some big bears in there. So we walked into this tank, and as we're walking, I had kind of a younger dog start crowing. And I just let him do his thing, and then I had an older dog and another young dog feed in, and we hit this pond. And they blew out. Everybody blew out from this pond. And Dad and I looked at each other and we're like, all right, we're running a bear, like that's obvious. So we run this thing, everything. I would have bet you my paycheck, any money that I had on me in my account, everything, that we were running a bear. We run this thing from the pond, run it up, cross the ridge, drop through a mesa that drops into this big main canyon that feeds out from the pond, and we go hiking in there, and we get there, and we had caught a big tom, it was the first dry ground lion that I had ever caught on my own with nobody else even there, and they ran it like a bear. I don't know, we must have just hit them just right at the pond or what, but like I said, everything, how fast it went, where it ran, everything, dropping into the canyon, we thought it was a big old bear. We were ready. We get in there and he's a good tom. Nothing crazy big, but he was a good mature tom, and caught him in a cottonwood tree, which was kind of cool for me because I don't hunt around a lot of cottonwoods. And we had caught him, and both Dad and I were looking. We were trying to drum up a lion tag in our pocket because we went in there looking for bears. We went in there looking for bears, and we caught a lion, and neither one of us had a tag, and we ended up just letting him go and walking out of there and whatnot. But it was kind of cool. It was the first dry ground lion that I caught on my own, and the way it happened, it was just on free cast. You know, we didn't even know what we were running. Shit, we could have been running deer for all we knew. It was a nice surprise to walk up there and see a lion in the tree.
That's cool.
That's cool.
You gotta be, you got to have something at the end to like capitalize on. It was like whenever when my own dogs ran and bayed their first pig this past season, it was like, gosh damn, we're probably running a deer or a fucking who knows what. And then get down there and we're bait up, and by God, there's a pig down there, and you're like,
heck yeah,
they finally did it. Like it was like on their own. It's just such a cool thing to it's like an achievement. You're like,
right,
all right, we've done it. Like, we can check this box off. Damn it, we've done it.
Cool. I love it. I love seeing young dogs capitalize. I love seeing young dogs outwork older dogs and whatnot, or seeing a young dog actually participate instead of just me tooing and following everybody else. Like when they make a lose and everybody else picks it up, and then you have a young dog that finally comes through and picks up the lose and pushes on, and doesn't quit. It's very satisfying. That's what it's about, in my opinion. Like, yeah, killing stuff is cool, and I love doing it, and I love seeing lions and bears hit the ground. But lately, it's fun hunting dogs and training dogs. This summer, I hunted some dogs for a guy and just kept them in shape, and it was just satisfying seeing them progress from what they were to where when they left, and it's just nice.
I know that's right. I'm praying that this season's kind of like a turning point for the deer dogs, where I've got more than one in the hole that I can count on. So
yeah,
I get it. Well, cool, man. I appreciate you coming on. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot more than I mean, I don't know anything about the Western stuff, so it was cool to hear all the things. I'm probably gonna go back and listen to this to remember all the shit, that knowledge that was put down. So that was cool.
Yeah, it was good though. It's good to meet you too, Kyle.
Yeah, same. You guys are welcome anytime you guys want to come out and experience it. We can do some bear hunting, some lion hunting, and experience some different terrain, different country, different styles. I mean, it's all different. It's all
good.
fun.
I'm coming. I'm bringing a plot bitch with me though.
Come on. I don't. Like I said, I'm not picky. You bring what you want. As long as you take her back with you, you're good.
Oh man. All right, buddy. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you for having me.
You bet. We appreciate it.
All right. See y'all guys.
See you.
All right. Bye. There we go. Well, that's another one. Ricky is really doing good at hosting. He's doing a real good job. And we appreciate y'all. Thank you for listening in. Y'all make sure to go check out anything to do with Lite Hounds. Get your ass over there. Go check it out. And also make sure you check out the Dixie Dogger stuff. If you don't, pull your hair out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hope you enjoyed that episode. If there's anything or anyone you'd like to hear on the podcast, or if you'd like to come hunt with us, don't hesitate to contact us at dixiedoggers01@gmail.com.